Hi, Kenny. It's Sunday, August 16th, 2020, and this is your swing review. You sent over a few 6-irons for me to take a look at. You were telling me you've been hitting pull cuts and you struggled drawing the ball at times, and that your miss has been kind of like a high spinny shot. Looking at your TrackMan numbers in the past for 6-iron, your swing speed's anywhere from 88 to 91. And you've had a tendency of having too high of dynamic loft at impact, and your swing direction gets a little too far left. So there's definitely some things that contribute to that. Overall, the swing looks pretty good. The lower body action's really solid, and you align your joints really well. I think there's some changes we can look at making to your setup and then to your takeaway that will help you obtain your goal of gaining some more speed and compressing your irons a little bit better. So the first place I like to look in a swing is the length of the swing. So it looks like you've rotated the club back about 230, 235 degrees. That's a little short to me for your swing. I think you're physically capable of making a bigger swing than that. I think we're seeing a shorter swing because of where your shoulders are at setup and then how you kind of set your wrists. So we're going to look at that a little bit closer. The next place I like to look is the tempo of the golf swing. So when tempos are a little slow, it's harder to hit the ball further, in my opinion, and it's just more time for the club to get into some funky positions. You told me Adam Scott's your favorite swings and you like Justin Thomas, so I think they're some good models for you to look at. Uh, so if we watch your swings together, Adam is at impact before you've started down in your downswing. So I think this is a big spot of where you're losing speed. Um, we really want to address this issue. I think you've struggled trying to speed it up in the past because of where the club is. Um, so I think we're going to split things up in how you practice into positions a little bit and then work on tempo after that. And I think combining the two, you're really going to see a jump in distance. So if we look at your swing compared to Justin Thomas, you've barely started down as he's hitting the ball. So I think that's easily going to pick you up a few miles an hour by speeding this tempo up. So next, let's look at your setup. So if we look at your shoulders compared to Adam Scott's here, your shoulders are a lot more rounded forward. I know you like to bench press quite a bit, and I think this is hurting your golf swing. Um, so what happens is your pec major and pec minor are tight. And when those are tight and shortened, your rhomboids in the back become lengthened and then your scapulas separate. So this prevents your torso from rotating properly and is setting your shoulders in more of an internal rotation to start with. So it's going to make it harder to swing, get the length of swing of what we're looking for. So we're going to work on changing that a little bit. So along with that, I like to look at where the center of mass of the club moves in the backswing. So that's pretty much the balance point of the club. The club's not completely round like a bat. The club head sticks out, so the center of mass is going to be a little bit below where the orange ball is here. But the orange ball is a good reference point to look at in the swing. So when we look at your takeaway, we can see how the club head is on the inside part of your hands here. Now, in the past, it's been a lot deeper, so you're working on this. It's getting better, but I'd like to see that club in line with the hands or a little bit outside. So what happens is from there, your motion in the takeaway is a lagging move. So you're pushing the hands forward and then kind of banking the club around in the swing. So if we work this through once, you can see that center of mass before wasn't getting high enough, and then you would have to lift your hands late, and then the swing would loop to the outside a little bit. Now, this is where we see a little pause in your swing to where this is your fix to keeping the hands moving out in transition. So you pause and then reset the club down, and it gets into a pretty good spot, but you're still swinging left because of it. So to show you what I mean with the hands kind of pushing forward in the takeaway, if you look on the left, this is my swing over exaggerating. Now I have the club a little further out, so that's closer like what Dustin Johnson does. I would like to see your hands move a little more straight back, and they're going to kind of feel like they stay in front of your body longer. So what I mean by that is this is sort of similar to your takeaway here. So the hands push forward, that club head gets back behind the hands. So if I was to turn and look at the club here, you can see how my hands are forward. So what I'd like to see more from you is a little better setup. We'll go over that. And then for the takeaway, to get that center of mass, the club head in line with your hands there. So if I turn and look at the club here, you can see how the club is a lot more in front of my body versus where you would be if you're turning. You see how the hands are lagged forward. So you told me you've worked on getting your hands a little bit higher. I think at the top of the swing, that's very good thought for your iron shots. If you look at comparisons between iron and driver swings, the iron swing's going to be a lot steeper because of the lie angle. And so just to kind of give you an idea of how that changes in the swing, this is comparing an iron and a driver in the swing. So the hands are going to be higher at the top with an iron, and then as you're coming down, the club's going to pitch out towards the ball a lot sooner than with a driver, just because driver is a lot flatter. So, all right, so how are we going to change things? So the first thing I want to check is your grip. I'd like